What's good, fam? It's your boy Jorge. Welcome back to Hanging with the Boys. Today, I got the wild girls in the hot seat. I got Kim and Tara Lee. So, Kim, you are the owner of
Wild Beauty Co.
Yeah, see? The Wild Girls
Company.
Okay.
Yes. I am the owner. I opened it about a year ago, and I forgot, but I was in Tara Lee's wedding, so we've been friends for a really long time.
Oh, yeah?
And so, when I started the podcast, when I started the salon, I knew she was going to come with us. And then she brought her entire team with her.
She had a team, huh?
Yeah.
I used to go to her for a haircut.
It was like a mass exodus, and they all came to mine.
And that's kind of like a no-no in the industry.
Yeah.
So you weren't the most liked for a while, or still?
Mm-hmm.
Still?
I think so. I think he may have slightly gotten over it a little bit, but yes, not terribly liked. I think he said that he gave me 6 months, and then I was supposed not to make it after 6 months. Okay. So I was like, guess what? At 6 months, we're going to send him a summer sausage basket.
Yeah.
He's a vegan. And say thank you, but we made it. Yeah. So we just celebrated 1 year.
Okay.
About a month ago.
So you exceeded what he thought of you.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And everything's going good?
Yeah, it's been great. But yes, we have had little turnover. We've had 2 girls leave, and we filled their spots. So it's kind of like an ecosystem that is always evolving.
Mm-hmm. Gotta find your right niche.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been doing hair? So what's your actual title now? Because I think I saw it on your Instagram, and you specialize in certain things. There's just not like a hair cutter.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of when a stylist will niche out a little bit, and I wouldn't say I'm one of those particularly. I just enjoy doing blonde hair, and I do it really well. Uh-huh. So I'll just call myself a blonde specialist. But I like it all. I do everything. But being the owner of the salon, I feel like I just wanted to have a cooler title on my Instagram.
Okay, that makes sense.
Master stylist.
Master stylist. Yeah. All right. One of my questions: what's the biggest difference between a barber and what you guys do?
My husband's a barber.
Okay.
And he owns his own barbershop. So we answer to 2 separate boards. So we are the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology, and they are the Nevada State Board of Barbers. And so we essentially are doing like the exact same thing, except they are trained in a straight razor, which we are not allowed to use. Mm-hmm. Ours have to have guards on them.
It's controversial. Perry thinks you're allowed to use a straight razor, but they don't do any like chemical services either.
Right.
They're allowed to, because I think they're trained in like tent touch-ups, but no, yeah. And they had to do a perm.
Stop.
They have to wrap 2 rods during their practical exam. But yeah, so those are the things. Like we just kind of answer to 2 separate boards. And because they try really hard to keep those boards separate, we have really strange laws. So my husband and I were thinking about having a shop together, but not blended, because women don't want to see men and men don't want to see women. So
I think men want to see women for sure.
Maybe not with covered in foil and hair.
But also you have to have like separate doors.
So sinks. Some of the rules are there has to be an 8-foot partition wall between me and you. So we could cut in the same room if you were a barber, but there has to be an 8-foot wall between us.
Oh, okay.
And barbers have to be standing 3 feet away from a shampoo bowl. We don't have to do that. Or a hand washing station. In the event that they were to like Sweeney Todd somebody, they have to be able to like wash their hands off. So they have to be within 3 feet, but we don't have those specific regulations. Yeah. So there's like weird laws that separate us that make no sense.
Okay. So I've never actually gone to a barber, but
I hear it's good. It's
just because they're allowed to use the straight edge doesn't mean they use it on everyone, right?
They do.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, my husband does. That's how he lines up your neck every single time, is with like a hot lather and a straight razor on your neckline. And that's how they get like those crispy lines to the beard and all that. He does it every time.
So it's a process then. Yeah.
And they just have a lot of different
Do they? I don't think they shampoo every client though.
Adam hates that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't. That was another question too. It seems like it's more male dominated than females in the space.
In the barber industry? Yeah. I think there's some girls that are like, I'm only going to cut men. And like men are like, yeah, I'm trying to go to a hot girl barber. But for the most part, like Adam would never have a girl barber in his per se, because he is like, it's a really masculine environment.
Right.
But he has 3 barbers in his shop, and Yeah, it's very male dominant. But there's like he cuts a lot of everybody. If you want that specific haircut, you're gonna go there for it because I'm not gonna do that. I'll hit you with a 2 real quick.
Yeah.
And you want anything more than that, take it downtown.
Yeah. See, that's what usually when I take my boys to get their haircut, they're like, what do you want? And then I'll get mine too sometimes. And I'm like, well, I want like a nice little fade and stuff. And they just kind of look at me like, I'm like, do they know how to do this?
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And then, yeah. But I usually wear a hat, so it never really matters.
Yeah.
You'd feel so much different
Yeah,
if you went to a
listen,
barber.
I think that guys should have to get haircuts because girls have to maintain so much on ourselves that like you guys are just getting haircuts. So like get a good haircut. Have a clean neckline. It's the least you can do.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we're over here.
Well, and it makes a big difference on a guy too.
Yeah, and you feel better.
Yeah.
You would feel so much different if you went to a barber. You'd
Yeah.
feel so good.
Yeah. And the conversation's different too. And they have like TVs everywhere and like he's got podcasts playing and stuff. So it's just like a totally different environment.
Now he's going to have this podcast playing with you on it.
I know,
Yeah.
huh?
I'm not much of a talker, so I don't really care about that. I just like I'm very, and she could attest to it, but I'm like, hey, I need a haircut like today, like right now.
Barbers do that though. They're walk-in based.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, my husband takes appointments too, but they're like pretty walk-in heavy. It
Oh.
was a big change during the pandemic because we were all altered with appointments and like you weren't allowed to walk in. There was no waiting in the waiting area because we were all going to get COVID. So that really negatively impacted them. But as for salons, like we've always been appointment based. And so it wasn't too bad if you're an appointment. So there was some like shift in the dynamic for booking for him, but they do walk-ins all day long.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's so weird because I'll do a lot of the wives and he does a lot of the husbands. And I'm like, whoa, did they tell you that they just got a puppy and they flew to like, to Hawaii to pick it up? He's like, nope. I'm like,
Yeah.
what'd you guys talk about? He's like, today we were talking about how much cooler black socks are than white socks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like they'll shoot the shit, but it's like different shit than we're shooting.
Yeah. But they are there a lot less time than a female, right?
Yeah.
My wife just got her hair done by Tara Lee here, and she was
2
like there 3 hours or something.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It
dude,
was 2 hours.
It was
Okay,
2
well.
hours.
it's like, what's going on over there?
She's getting beautiful.
And it takes time. But that's probably, I don't know, the difference with guys and girls, though, is you're trying to get in and be snappy. And girls want the experience. They want to be treated special. They want the environment. They want, and that's, we love that part. Chopping it up is like our favorite part.
Right.
The experiences. I want to know how your dude proposed to you. Like, I want to know what the wedding's like. I want to know how your pregnancy is. I want to know all of the details.
Yeah.
And so that part of it comes really easy because I genuinely am in for the convo.
Yeah. And yeah, you guys just have regulars all the time. So it's kind of like an update in their life from last time.
Every 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah. A lot happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is a pretty big difference. It's kind of wild to me that the Nevada State, what was it?
Board of Cosmetology.
Wouldn't just take on the barber side of it too and just be two different things, but at this,
It's
they
just
have two
more
different
people
boards.
trying to get money.
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like the people on the board will rotate. So like the vice president becomes the secretary. Like they kind of do that on those boards.
And it's just two different like governing entities.
And
Yeah.
you know what it's like? You give people a little bit of power and they get sick with it.
Mhm.
So they're like, oh, let's make a lot of weird rules.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of sounds like that's what like Elon Musk is doing, right? With the being with Doge going in,
Yeah,
being like,
dive in.
why do you guys have two different
Yeah.
hair cutting boards?
Money.
It should just be one.
Money. I'm like, well, how much money did you spend to Hamas and condoms? What was that?
Yeah.
Who signed that off? I like the deep dive.
Yeah. What's it like? So, we'll keep it to the haircutting, even though I am interested in the barber stuff. But what's it like? You guys go to beauty school? Is the proper name? Cosmetology school?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm really like all about that because, when I was younger, I used to think like going to college and everything was the thing to do and everything. But now you kind of see how kids want to grow up. They just want to be like influencers. And we're seeing like a decline in a lot of specialty, like plumbers and construction workers and stuff like that. So I do think like the specialty trade schools are very important. So that's kind of what your guys is, right? A trade school.
Yeah. When I was 18, my mom told me that I should go to hair school. And she's like, that way you don't have to be a waitress for the rest of your life. She's like, it's 1 year and then you'll always have a skill to fall back on because I thought I wanted to do other things along the way. And it was true. Then it was 1 year if you go full time.
Uh-huh.
And then you always have that skill to fall back on. I could go anywhere and walk into a salon and, do hair and make money pretty quick.
When you say a year, do you mean a full year or like a school year?
It's 1,600 hours.
Okay.
And so however long it takes you to complete 1,600 hours.
When we went, it was 1,800.
Oh, it's 1,800.
It's
1,600 in
now.
California too?
They changed it.
Because they want California to be so fluent with coming in and out. But that was one of the reasons that we kept 1,800 and they had 1,600. Is so when you came over from California, you had to take additional hours or additional
spend more money.
Yeah.
But because we have such a passing between two states now, we've dropped our hours to accommodate taking all their stylists on.
Mm-hmm. So you got to do your hours. So that's, on your own, basically, right? So it's like, do they make you go or you just go whenever you want?
There's like a set hours you can go, but really it's all on you.
Yeah, there's girls that go 2 days a week and go to school for 4 years, or there's girls that go 6 days a week and you go for 10 months.
I think the success rate of beauty school is like super low.
Yeah, they say, I think the statistics are for every 12 stylists that graduate, only 4 are doing hair after 3 years.
Oh, really?
So it's like everybody wants to go to beauty school. Everybody wants to make everybody pretty. But it is so much harder to do that because you have to be like a whole package. You can't just be good at hair when it's like the experience and it's the knowledge and it's the socialization and it's the marketing and there's so much more to being successful than just slapping color on people's hair.
Yeah, like so many people are like, oh, if like my other career fails, I'll go to beauty school. I'm like, bro, it's not like that.
Yeah, it's not like that. And we've been in the industry a long time, so we've seen a lot of people come and go, but it takes a lot more to be successful as a hairstylist than you think it does.
Yeah. So then when you graduate from that, then it's basically on yourself still, and you're a independent contractor basically, right? So
there's different structures of different salons that you can go to work at. There's hourly structures like team clips and supercuts and things like that, and those are kind of good if you want to like bang out a ton of haircuts really quick to get a lot of experience. There might not be a ton of really great haircuts when you do that at first, but you only get better by doing it.
Right.
And then there's also different structures that are like commission salons, 70-30, 60-40, things like that. And then there's booth rent salons, which is mine. I like that better because I think it puts you more in control of your own business. I don't want to worry about how much product you squeezed out of your tube, and I don't want to have to manage supplying all of that as a commission-based salon would. So it just depends on what you're looking for in the industry, where you find your foot in.
So a commission-based salon is somewhere where Tara Lee comes in and you take commission from everything that she gets.
She uses all the color that I supply. I supply everything. And then when she goes to ring her client out, I will get 40 or 60% of her number, and then I'll cut her a check.
Yeah, and then yours is not like that. They just rent a space.
Yeah.
Pay a monthly rent.
Yeah, so if you don't cut any hair that month, you still got to pay her rent.
Yeah.
Or your rent.
Yeah, so like
and
COVID,
that's on you.
Like during COVID, like I couldn't work, for 7 weeks or whatever, but I still had to pay my rent.
Yeah.
Even though I had no income coming in.
Okay.
And there's pros and cons because you have a lot more control over your stylist when you're a commission salon. Like you're a lot more boss when you're a commission salon. I didn't want that. I don't like that. I would rather coexist in an environment of self-run businesses and just create like a habitat that like your business can thrive in.
Yeah, like I feel like you get more people that want to do hair and are going to be successful at it in a booth renting situation.
Yeah. But so say on a commission one, so say something happens like that where that person doesn't come in. So how are you getting paid then?
Exactly. That's the thing. So you're only getting the commission when they're behind the chair. And I don't know if it like some of them structure like they guarantee the salon gets X amount of money a month. So even if you don't produce, you still owe them whatever a flatline rate is. And then it shifts as you go up and you make more too. But I'm not crazy about that kind of salon. Like I said, like some people want that kind of management and that's great for them. But I just wasn't looking for that when I opened this salon. Plus I like the guarantee. I know exactly what's coming in every single month because they're cutting me a check for this exact amount every single month. And it's more, I feel like it's just more predictable for me.
Yeah. Okay. So what made you, so basically coming out of beauty school, you go in it, like it's up to you. It's yourself. There's no teacher there telling you, hey, you have to come in on Tuesday. So, and then you go out, you start on the workforce, and then you're, like I said, an independent contractor, basically going into like a studio, great clips, whatever it may be. So what made you want to change and then be like the boss?
I always knew I was going to. When I got out of beauty school, I just picked the very best salon in Carson. And I was like, this is where I'm going to work because I want to learn from this person. If you want to be better, you have to go stand by people that are doing what you want to do and then learn from them and then grow. So I moved a few times, but all of them. That first one I went to was an hourly salon. And it's kind of interesting, like watching the way that money works, because I was making, I think at the time it was 20 years ago, $14 an hour. And you're charging hundreds of dollars for this hair, and you're fucking bringing home $14. And it's like, damn.
Yeah.
Wait a second. If I could make this much. So then I scooted on to a commission salon after I left that one. It was like 6 years. And then I went to the next one. But each one I chose, it was because they had something I wanted. And I had that grit about me that I always knew I was going to own my salon. I told them all. Everybody I've ever worked for knew that that's where I was going. So I wasn't ever coy about it. Like, I'm going to own my own salon. But in the meantime, I had 3 kids. Okay. You know, so that was a good consuming part of my career. I took a step back and just focused on being a mom, you know. But yeah, I always knew I was going to own one. I just had to climb till I felt like I was comfortable enough to do it. And being comfortable enough to do it is being able to pay the rent by myself. Right. Because I don't ever want to lose everything I built because everybody walked out on me and now I can't afford my lease. So I wanted to make sure that I was able to like support my family and then also support an entire lease by myself. Right. Not that I want to, because I have such a great team right now. Yeah. I got a killer team. But yeah, I always knew I was going to do it.
What do you look for when you hire like a new person?
Oh my God. In this industry, there's so many mean girls. Yeah. And I don't fuck around like that. Like I don't want that cattiness. I don't want to be in that. I've spent years in that environment where you're like, I don't know, like I don't feel like as an artist, like I'm producing my best quality work when I am not in a happy environment. So I have like a core value sheet that I go over with these girls when I bring them on. Like, this is my salon. This is my mission. This is what, like, the environment that I'm focused on creating. And if you don't fit into this, it's okay. Then this isn't like your spot. Right. You know? So just no mean girls, no backstabbing, no shit talking. Happy. And I feel like I found girls that were all looking for that too. Yeah.
And then do you ever just look for a specific, like someone that can do a specific task or thing? Like a nail girl. You have a nail girl?
We have 2. Okay. One of them's my best friend I own the salon with. Oh, okay. She does nails. And then we have another one that came with Tara Lee from Paradise. But yeah, like when you think about wanting to build a full service salon, that is hair, skin, and nails. And that's what I wanted. So when I did that, I looked for an esthetician, nail girls, and then hair girls.
What's the ratio between men and women that go to your salon? See, like a salon like that, I feel weird like being like, I want to go, because then I feel like, I don't know.
I actually lost a few males coming to Wild, but only because they didn't know, they didn't get the vibe right away. But really, it's for both people. But we just hired our newest stylist. She was primarily just men cuts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was one of her fears when she was coming over. She's like, I just have a male-dominant career or male-dominant clientele, and I'm afraid that they're not going to like that environment. And I'm like, then this isn't the environment for you. Like, if that's who you're looking to cater to, then stay where you're at. But if you're looking to do more extensions, if you're looking to do more high-end colors, then you'd come over here. So she made the jump, and she's been there since like October, and now she's firing all of her male clientele because she wants to do more color.
Just referring them to the barbershop so then they can.
See, that's why I don't go there no more, because you guys would kick me out.
No, she still has some guys.
You can come back, Jorge. It's okay.
Do you cut guys?
Yeah. I have a few.
Yeah, I got like 2. Yeah. And they're like the husbands of the wives I've done forever. And like, Randy will come in with Kathy and I'll just like line them up real quick. But like I said, if you want anything below a 2.
But you don't necessarily like that, or you do? Wouldn't a guy's haircut be easier?
It's easy, but it's not easier.
Okay.
Like I would rather do women's.
Oh, okay.
I would rather do a hair color all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about like a male hair color? Is that fine?
It's not as fine.
It's not as fine. No, I don't enjoy it as much. Yeah, guys' hair is a lot faster. But like, for instance, for the other stylist that works at the salon, to make what I make in an hour and a half, she has to do 9 guys.
Okay, yeah.
You know, when I'm
That
just
makes
doing
sense.
one color.
Yeah.
And so, like, when you're looking at how hard she's working and she's pumping them out and they're, you know, circling through, and I'm over here like, just like painting my color in my zone. You know, I like that better. And I think she's found that she also does. So we've been shooting those all to the barber shop, which my brother's also a barber.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to take over the city.
Where are they located?
At my husband's shop. It's called Adam's Barbershop. It's over on Winnie Lane.
Okay.
Yeah. And my sister-in-law works at my salon.
So a whole family business.
Yeah, it's like the mob.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the beauty school stuff. How is that? So obviously during that, there's a lot of like that cattiness with the girls and everything. But how's the structure of it? Like you really do learn?
No.
Okay.
I would say no. It's kind of like they're teaching you the very baseline, but none of that really applies when you get out in the real world. Like there's maybe in different areas you have more specialty schools that are bringing in more like particular colors, but in beauty school and in this industry, a lot of it is like you just have to do it to learn it. And in beauty school, it was like, well, when I went, there was no like balayages and all this like, you know, Scandinavian hairlines and things. Like the color in itself has evolved so much in the industry since I went, but the education hasn't grown with it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So when you get out of school, like you're still learning that initial baseline that I learned 20 years ago, when they really need to elevate the education based on how much the industry has grown out here now. Like you're not coming out laying out thick balayages out of beauty school.
Yeah.
Like they just aren't teaching you things that are actually applicable to like the actual industry and what people want out here. So, yeah, they aren't, I don't think, but I did go to the beauty school here in town and I taught a class because I would have loved for somebody out in the world to come into the school and teach us things that they were actually really doing, like successful stylists.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And there's no way around that. Like you can't cut hair unless you get a license.
Yes, absolutely. And some of them, I can't remember, God, dude, it's been so long. But like, I think before you graduated, you had to have like 6 perms, 4 root touch-ups, 100 haircut or whatever the numbers were, before you could graduate. But no, there is no apprenticeship into being licensed. You have to go spend that $30,000 on beauty school.
Okay. See, I didn't even ask how much it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a lot.
30,000. Wow. And is barber the same deal too? You can't just learn and
they have an apprentice program, but I think you have to do the apprentice program for 2 years and then go take the test, or you go to school for 1 year and then take their test. But you know what's a trip about them is like our cosmetology board, you test at your school or a location in Reno. The barber board will not come up to Northern Nevada, so all the northern barbers have to go to Las Vegas to take their test.
Yeah.
And that's really hard. Try to find somebody up here to take with you to go take a test down in Vegas.
Yeah.
They have to have hair that comes down to here. They have to have a beard that comes up to their cheek and down to their throat.
Oh.
And a lot of guys don't have that. They're like balding when they have a great beard, or they have no beard and great hair.
That's me. I'm the second one.
Okay, no beard, great hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when my brother went down there to take his test a couple months ago, he had to find a homeless guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's what my husband had to do too. And so we found some guy sleeping outside and he kicked him in the shoe and he's like, hey, I'll give you $40 if you come with me, because he had a decent head of hair and a beard.
Yeah.
And homeless dude went with him.
And they also have to pay, the schooling. And then is there a fee for like testing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a fee for testing. And then when you're a sole proprietor or you're a small business owner, other people know, like you have to have a city license. And I think that's like $50. And then you have to have a Secretary of State license, and that's $200.
Yeah.
And then you have to have your cosmetology license, which I think we're doing that every 4 years now. And that's a few $100. And then you also have to take like a sanitation questionnaire test to like relicense. So you have to make sure that you know how long to sanitize your combs for every time you take your license test.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, but the licensing, if you just renew it every year, you don't have to like do anything special.
It's that 4-hour test.
Every time you renew it?
Yeah. It's like a quick little questionnaire that you have to log onto and it's just like they'll have a couple of Nevada State Board questions applicable to like Nevada law questions in there. And then they'll also have like, how long do you sanitize your combs? If you drop your comb on the floor, like, what are you supposed to do with it? Like, just make sure like you're brushing up. But I think it's every 2 years and every 4 years now. So you can choose to pay for 2 years. You choose to pay for 4 years.
Okay.
I do 4 years because I can't remember every 2 years.
Right. Well, in the 2 year, I feel like what you were saying, they've kind of given it out to someone that doesn't really want to do it. I'll just do it for 2 years, and then they're like, I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. It's a hard industry to make it in, though. I think that especially with, like you said, everybody wants to become an influencer. It's like everybody's like, oh, I'll just do hair, or I'll charge $5,000 to do wedding hair, and they make it seem like it's so much easier. And there's different parts of the country that maybe are easier to get into and high-end stuff, but it's not an easy industry.
Right.
And it's kind of like people look at it like a hobby job. Like, oh, I'm just a hairstylist. Oh, she's just a hairstylist. No, dude. Like, we stand on our feet 12 hours a day. And you have to be in customer service voice for 12 hours. Like, you don't get to come down.
Yeah.
People don't want to come into a sad girl stylist and be fucking miserable. Like, you have to be up here all the time.
Right.
So there's a lot more, like, emotionally that goes into it, too, I think.
That is good to know, though, that everyone, because I've gone to some like sports clips and I'm like, how did you get your license? You know, but obviously they did, and they're keeping up with it.
Yeah.
So they're doing all the right things.
Yeah. And you don't have to be good to have a license.
Yeah.
And the test that you take, it's not like you have to be able to do a really good color. You just have to be able to paint some shaving cream on a root line and like wrap a perm. Like, they make it really hard to fail. And so it's not like when you get out in the industry, you're like, well, I have my license. It's like, fuck, dude. My fourth grader could get that license.
Right. So then it's the learning on the job.
So that's why I would suggest go find the biggest, best salon wherever you live. Go work for them. Go stand beside people that have what you want. If you want to be a supercut stylist, then go stand by supercut stylist. That's what you're going to become. But I never went that route. I just went to the salons.
Yeah. Do you know how the supercut works?
My dad owns Team Clips.
Up on
Topsy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's where your dad died, like the army type dude.
Yeah.
And
he's never in the army though, but he looks like the Marlboro Man.
You know what's so funny? So we all just went and got our haircuts there.
Yeah.
And everyone did the same exact thing. So I have 2 boys. And then we all came out looking different, right? But the best haircut was your dad's.
Why, thank you. You know, my dad's done it since I was a kid. He lived in Seattle, and we go visit him in the summertime. And he worked at, you know, like Paul Mitchell salons, and he worked at some big ones in Reno. And he's owned that Team Clips for a while now.
Oh, okay.
He likes it.
Yeah, it's you know, it's one of those things where, like, like I said, that's just how I am. Sometimes I'm like, let's just go get your haircut. Like, to the boys, they piss me off. I'm like, you have to have your hair out of your face.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's longer. I've always had like a kind of long hair on top. So I'm like, just get it out of your face. And then sometimes they come out and it's like, here, I'm all. What part of that don't you understand? Just move it. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
They don't do it, so it pisses me off. All right, let's go get your haircut then. So
those ones are good walk-in ones. And there's a really big clientele that likes that. Like, they want it right now. And they'll go to anywhere to do it. Yeah. And like you said, you came out with three different quality haircuts, which my dad's great. And he's done it for a long time. But the structure of that business is hourly. Yeah. So he's paying those girls hourly. Okay. And then they're getting their tips on top of that. Oh, okay. Which you can make good money like that. You can make predictable money like that, too, because you know you're always getting that hourly rate. So he likes it. It's because like a franchise. Yeah. And they also have just rotating, right? A lot of people coming in, doing tips. Yeah. I was in there, and then some girl was cutting her hair, and she's like, asshole, they didn't leave me a tip. So I heard that. So then I had a tip extra big because that girl just said it. So then I'm like, all right, well, you 3 gave us haircuts. So now I have to leave like a super big tip. Yeah. I was under pressure. I think that's probably, just like waitresses, like they're making that base pay. And anything above that is how. Right. You know. Yeah. So it's not expected. Obviously, she did. Yeah, seemed like it. Yeah, those ones are great. I think, you know, like, and there's a good portion of people that are looking for that specific kind of structure in the industry. And then there's people, like, I'm booked out 6 months. So I can't be a new client. I don't take them anymore. I'm too busy. And I have such a hard time getting all my regulars in that I can't take new people. So I've waited my whole life to get right here. And now that I'm here, I'm like, I'm so sorry.
But that's the perks of being the boss, right?
Yeah. But you know what's great too is one of the reasons that I wanted to focus on growing my Instagram and like my social media platforms was to support the salon.
Yeah.
And so it has a really good following. And then when people call and they're like, I really want Kim and they can't have me, they're going to go to all the other people. So like it has helped like waterfall into the reputation and also into the girls' chairs too.
Yeah. So I don't know if this happens much to you guys, more like a team clips or anything like that, but would it be worth it for your location to have a person like the girl you just hired that would do like those, someone walks in, hey, can I get a haircut? Yep, this person's available.
Yeah, so the newer stylists are the ones that don't have stacked schedules.
Okay.
So we have a baby stylist that is my sister-in-law, and so she can take walk-ins, and then we oversee her. I'll go check her haircuts, and I'll like help her apply her color, and like give her tips and tricks because she's not stacked.
When you say baby stylist, like for babies or
no, just like I don't like the newest.
Yeah, the newer. Okay.
The newest,
okay.
yeah. And then they kind of go up from there. And so does the price because you also like pay for like expertise and efficiency and like things like that. But yeah, we do have one there, not all the time. But when she's there, she can take walk-ins. But yeah, and then we just kind of help her through them.
That's, like that's how I am though. I'm very, when I want something, I just, and then two, I'm also like, well, I'm paying for it, So Tara Lee would kind of flake on me sometimes. So I would have to go somewhere else. But yeah, that's just how I am though. But I know.
And there's a good portion of people that are like that. And then there's a good portion of people that know that they want that 4:00 every month on Thursday. They work for the state and they don't have time to like swish around. And also like with us, it is like the regular clientele that's built. So I know your hair. I know what you want. I know how you like it. You don't even have to tell me anymore. Like I actually will just tell you what we're doing today. And a lot of people like to get in relationships like that with their stylist. So it's not just like, well, the last girl I had was good and this one was bad. And you had 3 different, haircuts. And so there's a huge clientele of women that want to invest in more than just the in and the out. And like our salon, we do a lot of value-added services that like elevate your experience. So people that want to come and be pampered and they want to come and have a really good shampoo and things like that. Like people, they want that. A lot of times this self-care industry in the world we live in, sometimes hair is the only thing that women do for themselves.
Right.
It's something they look forward to. They like can't wait to get in there and feel special and catered to and disconnected, from their family at that moment where they can go process and like relax. Like I think that part of the industry is growing a little bit more of like those quick ins and outs.
Yeah, the self-care. Yeah, it's definitely, I think, a big industry nowadays.
Yes, definitely. And I've made a really great living on it.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah. And
that's good to hear.
Yeah. And it's not like, I don't want to talk like money, but you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you're good at it and you're efficient at it. But also like that's a weird thing too, because there's girls that'll charge $700 for one client and they spend 5 hours on that one client.
Wow.
And some women really like that. They want to be your only one. They want to sit there all day long and they're going to come twice a year and drop $700.
They're the ones that can afford the $700.
Yeah.
What was I going to ask you? Oh, how much time are you at the salon every day?
When I built the salon, I built it out of pocket and I didn't take any business loans or anything. So I had to work 6 days a week.
Oh, okay.
All day long to like pay into, how much money that was. I underestimated that. I didn't go into it with like a super structured business plan. I was just like, hey man, let's fucking open up a salon. And
you found the building and then there was go time.
I was like, cool, sign that thing. And so if I were to do it again, I think I would definitely do it a little bit more structured and predictable. But yeah, that was so much money. But anyways, yes. So I had to work every single day to support not having a business loan. And also like, support my home life and all of that as well. So now, I have 3 kids that are really active and they're all in sports and stuff. So I need a little bit more flexibility with my schedule.
Yeah.
So now I'm just doing like 3 10s and a 4.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
It's better than 60 like I was doing.
Yeah.
But that's the part that's probably like easy for me because I like my job so much. I can easily become a workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like, and I'm not saying anything bad about like state workers, but it's not like I'm going into a state job that I fucking hate, that I have to spend all day at and I'm miserable and I can't stand to work 40 hours. Mine's the opposite.
Right.
Mine is like, I love what I do. I love the people. I like my coworkers, my clientele. Like, so it's easy for me to fall into doing it a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to be careful. Because I will for sure overdo it.
Yeah. Well, but you're getting paid doing it, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then when you see how much money you can make, you're like, well, fuck it. I'll just do one more day.
Yeah. What's the toughest, like, hair to work on?
Like ethnicity-wise or like color correction-wise?
Yeah, like ethnicity, like type of hair.
Well, I think that with each ethnicity, you become skilled in your own, like, realm,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So, like, I have a couple... I mean, it just depends. Because, like, Asian hair doesn't lift very well. And that's, like, hard to work with. Polynesian hair is so dense and coarse.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just depends on, like, what they're wanting. So it's hard to, like, narrow down, like, what is the hardest hair to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, regardless of ethnicity, pretty much anybody that has ever colored their hair black. Whatever color you are, whatever race you are, if you have ever put artificial black hair color on your hair, it's a fucking nightmare. It doesn't come out.
But like close to like the hair time that you like, if they colored their hair and then they go to you in a certain range of time, or just like ever? Really?
Yeah. So say I have a girl come in and she, like, let's just say like Polynesian's great because I have a girl that I'm imagining right now. So her hair is super long, and down here 8 years ago she colored it black. But this is all natural.
Yeah.
And so now she wants highlights. So I'm going to put highlights in from here to here, and that little gap down there is going to be orange. It never leaves your hair, ever. So it makes it really unpredictable. Everybody's hair sheds that color a lot more challenging. And
so
it's
even if it's not black, it just still doesn't leave your hair.
Artificial hair color.
Okay.
Or girls, now there's like this new trend in like the middle schools where these girls are dyeing their hair like burgundy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that's a fucking nightmare. It's like if you ever want to be anything else in your entire life, in 4 years from now, and you want highlights, I'm going to find that burgundy that you colored it a long time ago, because color never leaves your hair. And so I don't even think it's length, shape, style, texture, anything like that. It's just artificial hair color from the grocery store.
Oh, okay. So, but if you go to a salon and you do someone's hair black, you're using higher quality.
Yeah, I'm using different quality. Like there's different kinds of black. There's semi-permanents and semi. This is like you talking to me about dirt bikes right now. Like there's so many different types of oil that you can pick.
Yeah.
Really shitty oil and really high-end oil. It's the same with hair color. Like as professionals, we have the ability to buy high quality, top-end, predictable color.
Yeah.
And then out in the grocery stores, there's really low quality, shitty made, bad hair color.
Yeah. So, but that's basically a problem for women, right? Because the hair is long. Like I've done my hair color before and didn't like it, so then I put black over it.
And then you
but
shave
that's
it
all
off.
gone, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you shaved it off.
Yeah.
But for women, like artificial color just never leaves, and so it makes it really unpredictable.
Do you have any horror stories you could share with us?
We were talking about this.
Maybe not from like the new spot you got, but like from the old ones.
Yeah, we were talking about this at the salon the other day, and we wanted to do like a hairstylist confessional of like, sometimes you fucked up. Like you're a human, you know what I mean? And like I'm very quick and I'm very efficient, but there's scissors that are solid blade that you cut with.
Yeah.
And then there's texturizing shears that have like little teeth in them. So I was doing this haircut and I needed to switch to my texturizing shears to start removing weight. I thought I picked up texturizing shears and I picked up her hair and just fucking cut it off. But had I grabbed the right scissors, it would have just thinned it.
Yeah.
So I gave her like a whole 4-inch patch of hair this long because I cut it clean off.
Huh.
So, yeah.
What was that reaction?
Oh, I played it cool.
No, her reaction.
I didn't tell her.
Oh, you know.
Come on.
Okay.
No, I was just like, we're going to hide that. And now we're going to layer it some. Not even that long ago, I told you I move really quick. And so at the shampoo bowl, we'll do things called toners.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you do highlights, it lifts to a raw color. And then I'll go grab a toner and I'll make that highlight whatever color I want it to be. Warm, cool, whatever, darker, different shades. And I went in the kitchen and I looked at the lids. I read what they said and I mixed them up and then I took them over there and it was supposed to be cool. So like blue based colors, like cool colors.
Okay.
I grabbed the wrong color and I turned her highlights pink. Not bad.
What was that reaction then?
I'll be right back. This was the first preparation step. I'll be right back. I'm just going to go mix a second color and I go in the kitchen. I'm like, fuck you guys. I fucked up. And so then I had to, color match on the spot and I went back out there and fixed it.
Yeah.
But you got to be quick with that. You got to know your color wheel. You can't fuck around because you can't make a quick change or know what to do if you didn't know how to cancel out pinks and reds. And
okay.
Yeah. So it was all right. It worked out okay.
Yeah. Just a little extra work or a little extra step.
But I'm not a robot, So obviously you're going to make mistakes along the way.
So a long time ago, I had a friend. So mind you, I think when I was little, there was my parents' friend, one of my dad's friends. He's like, I could cut hair. Told my dad. He came over, shaved my head. I cried. I was a little kid crying and everything. And I actually think my parents felt bad about it too. So, my hair is usually, cut or long, whatever. Never short like that. So I had a friend and she was going to cosmetology school, learning or whatever. And she would cut my hair sometimes and she would do it good or color it sometimes, And then this one time, for whatever reason, she came over. I asked her if she could cut my hair. It was pretty long. It was probably this tall on the top. And she was going to use a straight razor. For whatever reason, I don't know if that's... Obviously, you guys don't learn that, right? So she was just kind of experimenting probably. So she was doing it and, it was in her room. It's not like the mirror's right in front of me. Doing it. And then at the end, when she was done, she's all right, I'm all done. And I look and she shaved my head. She gave me a mohawk, right? And I was like, what is this? And she was like, oh, well, I messed up. And I'm like, well, instead of telling me, why do you keep going? I don't understand. I was so pissed. And she got mad at me for being mad at her. So then the only thing I could do was shave my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
well, I mean, you know how many times you have to fuck up a haircut to get good at it?
Yeah.
Yes. I remember when I first started dating my husband, he had a slick back, and the fade around the ears, but his hair is so thick. And he's like, can you cut my hair? And I was like, yeah, for sure.
And you were already doing it?
Yeah, but I didn't have experience in it. I mean, I lied and I said, abso-freaking-lutely. I can figure that out because I wanted to get him in my chair. I had no fucking idea what I was doing. I gave him so many shitty haircuts, but he kept coming back.
Yeah.
So I think not a lot of grace is given. You think that you should go to school for mechanics and then you get out and you just a car, but it's not like that. Hair is so different. Every person's hair is so different. Every hairline is so different. So it's a lot of times I think they don't remember that we're just humans. We do make mistakes and we fuck up and you got to mess up a lot of hair in the beginning to be good.
Yeah. Well, that's what was interesting at your pop's place, because I'm watching my kids over here with your dad. This other lady has my little one, and then it's me. And I'm watching what she's doing to me, and I'm like, okay. And I kind of know how it goes. I've done it for so long that I kind of know, all right, you're kind of doing it weird. All right. And then I look over there, and she's doing it kind of weird. So it is weird, the different people. For the same thing I asked for all three of us, you guys all did it different.
Yeah, but that's when you do an oil change, there's only one way to do an oil change. When you change a tire, there's only one way to you maybe change up the routine a little bit, but for the most part, you're doing the exact same thing. You might pop off different bolts, but in the end, you have to take all the wheel off, you know? And with hair, it's if you were to give an artist a picture and we were told both of us to draw the same picture, no matter what you did, they'd be different. And even with the girls, they'll come in the kitchen and they're like, hey, what would you do? And my explanation of how I would handle it is completely different than hers or hers or hers. And so it doesn't matter. You could never have the same hair color done ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Nobody is ever going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Even if you were trained by somebody. So, yeah, everybody has a different spin on their application process, on their cutting process, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's good to continue education, because I keep saying it, you should stand in a room where people are doing better than you. So go seek that out. But now in today's generation, there's Instagram, there's YouTube, and the market is so saturated with education. It's not that hard now. It was a lot harder when I was young.
Right. Okay, so let me give you a little scenario and then kind of walk me through if you have any advice for me, because I do cut my kids' hair sometimes, and I will say I know a lot of the issue is equipment. It's not professional. It's not the greatest. So that's probably point one for me right there that I'm missing out on. But okay, so just a quick fade. I'm gonna do a 3, and then I'm gonna come in with a 2 to the other half, like the lower part, right? And then just fade that up, make it look nice and stuff. Then the actual getting the top part, that's like pretty tricky. Like getting the hair and how you guys do it, just so easy and like line it up and everything. But how do you do it to where, because it always ends up being like a bowl cut for them in the front. They look like Dora the Explorer every time. Mm-hmm. And that's why they actually tell me that. And they're like, nope, I don't want it. I'm like, yeah, but your other part of your head looks really nice. It's just the very front part I always end up.
Yeah, that's a lot more complex than you think it is, because it's about elevation, and where you draw the hair up to is in the elevation from like a 180, 90, 45 down to 0. Yeah, so it depends on how you elevate what you're cutting. So if you bring it straight down and you fucking... Yeah, they're going to look like Friar Tuck. But if you slightly elevate that bang line and like chip into it... You'll
at an angle instead of going straight.
You'll add more texture, and it'll take off some volume of it.
Okay.
Make it a little bit more like soft and lived in. But that's where like all the tools come in. There's texturizing shears, there's razors, there's point cutting, there's notching. Like there's a lot of different elements to that. So like your perspective on it should be easy, right? I should just be able to give you a couple tips to just. But your boys look like Friar Tuck.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot more complex than it's given credit.
Yeah, and like I said, the hardest part is actually holding the hair, like in your fingers.
Yeah.
And then coming in with the scissors.
Yeah.
That's actually the hardest part, I feel like.
Yes.
When I try to do it. So that's why I'm like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your knuckles are completely scarred because you're constantly cutting into your fingers.
Yeah.
All the angles. But yeah, it's a lot more challenging than you think it is.
Practice.
Yeah.
And you guys get like hair stuck in your skin?
Oh my God, that is the worst. That's one of the reasons I don't like cutting guys' hair.
Oh, okay.
I don't like it. It always lands in my tummy, and I'm fucking prickly all day long. You'll find it in your shoes. Like women's hair, yes, but it's not as bluntly cut, and there's not so much of it. Like when you run the clipper up, you're cutting all that hair. I don't like it, and I've seen them get like impacted and infected, and it's disgusting because it's somebody else's fucking hair.
Yeah.
Adam at the barbershop he cuts in gloves because he doesn't like it, because they're always in your hairline or in your fingers and stuff. Yeah, it's gross. And honestly, dude, the other part that's gross too is like humans are gross. Like there's not a lot of like, not so much where we're at now, but in my element of cutting hair, like people that don't shampoo their hair all the time, people that don't wash behind their ears.
So you've seen some bad stuff there.
And it's so simple. Like you think shampooing would be easy. Like you just, you just hit it like, If you're not like scrubbing behind your ears and like washing your scalp, so much dead skin and buildup and sweat. Yeah, it's a lot grosser.
What do you because sometimes I'd go with Tara Lee and I would have like dry skin right here. But I always thought it was like my glasses. It would just dry my skin right here. But then I noticed like changing diet. And that changed. It was never like showering or anything like that. It was always when I noticed like a change, and now I don't get it. It's because I took things out of my diet. Yeah. And I was like,
and also
that's
like
what it was.
Healthy fats are really good. like fish oil and eating avocado and things like that, like naturally hydrate your body. But also one of the, like you have yeast on your body and some people are more prone to it. So a lot of times, right, this area that gets flaky and dry, it's actually yeast infection on your skin. And it's a bacteria that lives on your skin primarily. Like it gets inflamed up here because it's fed by sebum, which is like oil and sweat from your body that feeds the yeast, and it turns into a full-on yeast infection.
Weird.
Yeah. So you have to have a certain medicated shampoos.
Yeah, I don't know if I had that.
I mean, it
was a little dry, but it wasn't that bad.
You'd be surprised how common it is. I see it all the time.
Yeah.
And they're like, I've just had some dandruff. I'm like, girl, that ain't dandruff.
Yeah, it's not
Guess
dandruff.
what?
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's
You
not
got a
like,
yeast infection on your head.
on your fucking head.
Yeah.
It sounds grosser than it is because it's way more common. It's like dermatitis. And yeah, people get it all the time. Yeah, that one's pretty gross.
Yeah, that's
just like, sweat is gross. They're like, sorry, I just came back, from the gym. And you're like, fuck. You came here with your sweaty ass?
the way I would say that some, because for a guy, you shower after you get a haircut.
Yeah. Right. And I can't go home and shower after I cut your hair. So I'm just stuck wearing your hair all day long. So I don't like it.
Yeah. That's why, like, when I go places, they're always like, you guys want some gel for your head? It's like, no, I'm going home and take a shower right now.
Right this second.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit. And my boys are like that too. They get so itchy.
Yeah. Imagine doing that all day.
Yeah.
So you're banging out 15 haircuts. That's how you stay all day long. It's just constantly itchy. Gross. I hate it.
Okay. Now I see why you guys don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like it. So I'll send them to the barbershop.
What's, can you say, like, what, have you ever had, like, just a ridiculous tip someone's left you?
Yeah, people are really, really generous. Well, you know what is interesting, though? It's actually more of like the older generation that's very generous around like Christmas time. That kind of etiquette is dying with our younger generation.
Well, they had money. It's a struggle for the younger generation.
Yeah, well, yeah, they bought their house for $99,000. Yeah. So I get it. It's a lot tighter, for sure, financially. But yeah, I've had tips given to me at Christmas time, like a few $100, or like spa gift cards and Starbucks gift cards and really expensive bottles of champagne and things like that. But again, all of those are like my mother's age. Yeah. Like my generation, we don't really do that. And also, if you've never been in the tipping industry before, you don't realize like that's what their gas is. That's what they pay for their food with. And so it's like a couple bucks. Well, the server gave me that they're doing their job. It's like, well, their job is a service that you should tip for. Yeah. So I've always been a really good tipper because I know what that's like, but unless you've been on the receiving end of that, I don't think that you probably realize how big of a portion of their hourly is impacted by their tips.
And it's funny you say that, like the older crowd does that, and especially around the holidays. That's just like a thoughtfulness that I think, it's not even that they have the money probably, it's just more of a thoughtfulness that probably is not.
It's etiquette.
Yeah, it's not shared nowadays.
No, and it was like known that you tipped your trash driver, your sanitation driver. Like, no, do you ever do that? Right. It's not even on your radar.
I'm not even here when they come.
Right. But at Christmas, I'll leave a gift card on top of my trash can.
Oh, really? And you put a sign on it?
Merry Christmas. Yeah, because that's a service industry. And that's like part of the etiquette that I think that like now, like obviously we don't have tons to be throwing around, but it doesn't have to be a lot. But it's just like appreciation. People like to be appreciated, Yeah. Yeah. It's on my radar because I'm in this industry.
That's cool.
Yeah. And he was really cool about it. I was like, hey, it's on there. He's like, thank you. I was like, I got you.
Like the people that leave Gatorades and water for the
UPS
Amazon
drivers.
People.
Yeah, I like that. And honestly, dude, if I have shitty service, it depends what kind of shitty service it is when I'm eating out too. If you're just like blatantly shitty, of course, I'm not going to leave you, more than 20%. But I've also, like with my children, because I am in the service industry, I want them to be very aware of tipping. Yeah. And so if we have, bad service, I'm like, listen, like she's relying on the cooks in the back and, like that kind of stuff. So I want you. So my boys pay the bills. They'll take the money up and pay for it. And like my daughter, I'm like, why don't you give this to the waitress? Tell her that you're sorry she's having a bad night and give her $20. because I want them to be very aware of that element of, the etiquette of tipping the service industry.
Yeah. I don't know how often you go out, but have you noticed a decline in service since COVID?
Yeah, I have. I think people are just, I don't know, a lot more sick and tired. Mm-hmm. A lot more, they're not as tolerant, I think, as they were before. Mm-hmm. And everybody is just, I don't know, like kind of seems like they're on their last nerve. Yeah, so I have, very much so.
Yeah.
The food industry. And also, have you noticed, like, when you go to like fast food restaurants now, there's tipping jars? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was at El Pollo Loco and I was like,
yeah.
The fuck?
They have it like outside of the drive-thru.
I'm like, okay, here you go. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much they're making an hour, but that was kind of surprising. But you see that more and more.
Yeah, I did see that during like the holidays. And I think it said like to help buy presents and I'm like, kind of, how is that my responsibility for you guys to buy presents?
Yeah.
But
also,
I'm not in the industry like that. But, I like to leave good tips and stuff like that. I always feel bad if I don't. So
yeah, at least like I always try to do 20% just because that's but also it's kind of interesting because like at like LA Bakery, like the chick that just took your order, she's like, do you want to leave a tip? I'm like, what did you do? You stood here and I don't mean to be shitty because I know that is the service industry, but now it's kind of like everybody along the road is asking for it.
Yeah. I've had it where I've gone and they have the tipping thing and I was like, no thanks. It was like Subway.
Yeah.
No thanks. And the button didn't work.
They're like, no. And I had somebody tell us that we should up, because when you check out on our iPad at work, it's like, I don't know, 15, 20, 25. Yeah. And they're like, no, you should start at 25 and only give them the option to hit 25. Because if that's the minimum, they're just going to automatically, I'm like, damn. Like that, but you would have aggressive. To do other. Yeah. And then you would feel weird doing other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's never expected. So with me, I charge for my service what I have to have for that service.
Oh, okay.
So like anything above, like that's super cool. Like thanks, $5, $10, $20, like whatever. Like thank you so much. But I charge for my service. Mm-hmm. I'm not like including your tip.
Yeah.
But like it is the service industry and those are always appreciated. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So we're getting close to the end here. Cool. I think we lost Tara Lee. But so what do you got going on? We kind of talked about it a little bit, but you're still going to start a podcast?
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Sure. So enough is never enough. I'm always hustling. I have grit about me that like I'm never gonna flatline. It's just not who I am. Mm-hmm. And so one of my favorite parts about being a hairstylist is the connection to the human.
Yeah.
The stories, the experiences, and like it's the things that are shared with me would blow your mind.
I bet.
Yeah. And I know things about
husbands. All the husbands watching right now, she knows everything about you.
Yeah, I do. So we better button it up. But that's one of my favorite parts about my job is just the connection. And so starting a podcast is just creating a platform for people to share their connections, to fall on the ears of people that need to hear those stories. So, for instance, like women that have lost a child or, like women that are in... Like I have one coming on that's a police officer. Mm-hmm. And like, what's it like being a woman where you're fist fighting a meth addict and then you're going to a t-ball game? Uh-huh. Like, what's that like? Like, those are the experiences that are shared with me every day. And so I just want to create a platform to like nurture that part of my job because that part fills my cup. I enjoy talking. Mm-hmm. I like knowing. And I think that they're like, like with this, there's a lot of people that are just looking for the connection of a human and a real conversation.
Right. Yeah.
And I have an untapped resource of that. So, I'm just hoping that these stories will fall upon ears of people, women, men, whatever, that need to hear what I have to say.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Well, I wish you luck on that.
Thank you.
So you're going to be doing that soon?
Yeah, so I'm going to record my first on Saturday.
Okay.
And then I have them scheduled out every Monday. I got about 15 of them right now.
Okay, so you're going to do once a week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just going to see where that goes. It's just another creative outlet of what I do. And I feel like if I have a fire burning in front of me, I just want to throw a bunch of stuff in it and like see what takes off, see what ignites. I have this platform that I've been given and I've grown on my social media platforms. And I want to take those as far as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Not like influencer wise, but just human connection wise. Yeah.
And, you know, you'd be surprised like how many people kind of rely on your show for a week.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, hey, it's our episode this week, you know, like if you don't put one out there.
Yeah.
Because they get into that routine of listening to you. So
and getting to know you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what my Instagram stories are. Like if you follow me, like there's just like human connection there. And I'm unfiltered and it's unscripted and I'm really comfortable in who I am. So I want to create a space where other people can be comfortable like that too.
Yeah, it's good. I see Tara Leo is reposting your guys' stuff and it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
There was one that you guys did where it was like the song of every whatever. There's one girl that had a good soundtrack.
What? They were all good.
All the other ones were, especially Tara Leo's was the worst. I think it was like Taylor Swift.
No, Pink Pony Girl.
What's that?
You know that trendy song? Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
Mine was a Pearl Jam, I think.
Yeah, yours
Mine
was okay. There was
fine.
one girl.
We're gonna need a vacuum.
What happened?
My baby.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Oh no, that's fine. Yeah.
Was it Fall Out Boy?
No, it was a rap one, like an old school one.
Oh, yeah. That was Samantha.
I think.
Yep, I know who you're talking about. I know what song it is.
And then you guys posted something. I forgot exactly what it was, but I was giving Tara Lee shit because she was wearing a Zach Bryan shirt.
Yeah, it was concert day.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, we have like once a month on Fridays we dress up. And so
I gave her shit. That's a woman abuser right there.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what he does at his own time.
Yeah, I don't really
I'm here
care.
for his music.
But I was just trying to give her shit, so that was fun.
That was a good one. I like that.
Day?
Yeah, we had emo day.
Oh well.
We all dressed up emo.
No, I follow you on Instagram.
Thanks.
And
for
all
that.
you guys can too at
775 stylist is my personal, and my salon is Wild Beauty.
Wild, but it's spelled different.
WHYLD.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, give it a like and a follow, and we're going to be building the podcast. And if you're interested in more real talk and real connection, that's where we'll be.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it like mic'd up. It's almost like exactly the kind of talk that we do at a hair appointment. We're just going to be mic'd up for it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll tune in.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. Might want to put a filter on that one. That one, she has no filter. So, but all right. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you
good
so
talking
much.
to you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.